Congratulations. You've gone down the path of individuation. You've stepped out of the mist. You now see the world in a completely different way, with a different lens. But there's a cost, and there's two decisions you now have to make. Let's talk about it. So the first option is you can go back into your old life. You can reunite with old friends and family and get right back into your culture. But the problem is they're going to sense that there's something different about you. So you might have to turn up that persona a little bit more. And when you turn up the persona, you now understand it as a mask. When you crank up that persona a little higher to hide the fact that you've gone down the path of individuation, you exacerbate, widen, and perpetuate the gap of your true self and your persona. And that creates a more fractured human being. So you don't feel as whole as you could have. And this is sort of like a betrayal to who you truly are, since you now have a greater understanding of who you are, what you want in life, and your greater purpose, because you've done the shadow work. But that's the cost. And you might have decided that, you know what, I'm going to rejoin my family, culture, society, even after this experience, out of fear of being alone. And that's a mistake. Because the cost is that you're going to feel even more alone if you turn up that persona just to impress people so that you can fit right back into your culture, to your family, to your group of friends. Now there's the second option, which is, and there's also a cost with the second option, which is being completely true to yourself and accepting this transformation, and then saying, I will accept any cost that comes with being my true self. And yes, that means you are now most likely going to be ostracized from your culture, from your friends, and from your family. And this means isolation. But isolation is not necessarily a curse. To a lot of people who've gone down this path of individuation, addressing your shadows, you start to see isolation as freedom, as a gift. You don't have the societal pressures to put on a persona, to dance for people, to entertain people, because you know that the persona is a mask. It's the theater. For example, when I was younger, I always believed that being a successful entrepreneur meant I had to wear that suit. I had to buy all this cool shit. But now I'm like, oh, I get it now. That's just the wardrobe of that role of as the entrepreneur, as the business person. So now I can accept who I am as an individual, which is an entrepreneur. I am a business person still. I just don't feel the need to wear a suit or do anything flashy that tells everyone that I am a successful entrepreneur, because despite how much I make, I am an entrepreneur. That's what I love doing. It's fun for me. It's my calling. So that's the dilemma or the cost that you now have, and you have to make that decision. You're forced to, You're forced to make that decision. And I personally chose the second option. And yeah, I'm the happiest I've ever been. I'm the most peaceful I've ever been. But I will say this, I am the most isolated I've ever been. But I'm surrounded by a small group of people who I know love me, who I know I can trust, who I know I can dive into deep philosophical concepts without having them lash out on me because I hit a psychological wall. Because we go through these different topics psychologically together. For example, it's actually my wife who I'm talking about. Like, if I'm talking about something and I get upset and she's like, "Oh, is that a wall? Is that a shadow? Or you? Why don't you want to dive into that?" And I'm like, "Ah, man, you're right." So then we'll dive. We'll just bounce ideas back and forth. Are we addressing our shadows? And it's a beautiful experience. And I'll take that one-on-one interaction over a large crowd and being accepted by a lot of people any day. Yeah. Take it easy, guys. Peace.